Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Culture Report. I'm Jamal Simon.
I'm DeMarco Randall.
And today we have a very special guest, Janelle Finn.
Hi, everybody.
She's an icon. She's amazing. She is a reporter at 9 News and just an all-around phenomenal woman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't stop there.
Oh, we only have so much time.
She's super excited to be here.
She is super excited to
Thank
be
you.
here. And she wore white.
Just for y'all.
Anyway, so we have a lot to get into. But first, Katy Perry and Kesha are back. Both artists dropped new music. Many fans are divided, though, y'all. So, Katy announced her comeback single, ironically titled Woman's World, and many were quick to call her out for working with the infamous music producer Dr. Luke. The hitmaker fell out of the good graces of the general public after his legal battle with Kesha. So, if either of y'all, somehow have no idea what's going on, I got you. I'm going to educate y'all. I got y'all covered. So, in September of 2005, Dr. Luke convinced Kesha to move to LA, where she signed a 6-album deal with him. So remember that, it's going to be important later. So the following month, Kesha and Dr. Luke went to Nikki Hilton's birthday party, where Kesha alleges in a lawsuit that Dr. Luke gave her a date rape drug and sexually assaulted her. So the next year, in 2006, Kesha signed a management deal with DAS Communications. But according to court records, Dr. Luke coerced her into dropping her contract with the management company. In 2009, Kesha had 2 of her first smash hits with Right Round with Flo Rida and TikTok, both produced and co-written by Dr. Luke. So in 2011, during a legal battle with DAS, Kesha testified under oath that Dr. Luke never made sexual advances towards her or gave her drugs to force her to have sex. Kesha's lawyers have since argued that her safety and livelihood were threatened at the time. So in 2014, Kesha drops a bombshell lawsuit against Dr. Luke, claiming sexual assault and battery, beginning what would become a nearly decade-long legal battle. So during which Dr. Luke's past collaborators like Kelly Clarkson, Pink, and Lady Gaga came out in support of Kesha, saying that from their experiences, Dr. Luke wasn't a good person. Taylor Swift also donated $250,000 to help with Kesha's legal bills. So in 2017 when Katy Perry enters the picture. Dr. Luke sued Kesha for defamation over a text that she sent to Lady Gaga regarding Katy Perry, who also has a long musical history with the producer. So in 2018, the text exchange was released. In it, Kesha reportedly accused Dr. Luke of raping Katy, something that Katy has denied in her own deposition. Gaga says that she and Kesha both heard the news of Katy's alleged assault from an Interscope music executive who told them about it in a private meeting. Over the course of the legal battle, Kesha also fought to be released from her contract with Dr. Luke's record label, but was denied several times. Kesha fulfilled that deal with her 2023 album, Gag Order, and a month later, her legal battle settled out of court. Now, on July 4th, 2024, Kesha released Joyride, signifying her first release as an independent artist, and then Katy later dropped her feminist anthem, Woman's World, on July 11th, co-produced by Dr. Luke. Kesha seemingly responded in a cryptic tweet that simply said, LOL, so that is how we got here today. Guys, how did I do? Cue the applause.
All caught up.
Caught up.
I didn't even know it was that deep, but it's that deep.
That is insane.
It really is that deep, and I feel like people should... Hold on, guys, I'm coming, y'all. I feel like... I do it all, guys. I do it all. But no, I feel like the first question here is... Well, not first question. First thing to clear up right now before we start attacking Katy is that, one, as we heard, there were rumors, and like Kesha said that she had inside information that Katy was assaulted herself. So one, I want to remember that Katy could also be a victim. I know people will be like, well, she said she wasn't under oath. And I'm like, well, so did Kesha. And turns out that she was like, okay, actually, I did lie because, her career was at stake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was like, it could be a situation where, okay, she's a victim herself. She could still feel unsafe because Dr. Luke is very powerful.
That's what's so scary, I think, for up-and-coming artists, because what are they supposed to think, that this isn't going to happen to them?
Yeah, and also if Katy, well, one, okay, on the other side of the coin, let's say she's fine, she was not a victim, this is just a choice she made, then is this anti-feminist? I know her song Woman's World is all about, women empowerment and all this. Do you feel like she's not a girl's girl? Is this anti-feminist of her?
I think it's definitely questionable, especially because, I mean, between Kesha and Lady Gaga, just sending each other texts, like we know how tight the music industry
Yeah.
is. Like it's a small group of people who are like kind of up there in this sphere, at least like pop, all of that. So I definitely feel like if I were in that situation, I would definitely feel a type of way if Katy Perry knew the history of Dr. Luke, knowing how he did Kesha. I would definitely think it's questionable for sure.
Plus, I mean, reportedly, Katy Perry and Kesha had like a little friendship that formed back in 2007, so they kind of go way back.
Like, have your girls back.
Have somebody's back.
Right.
I mean, even if it's not your girl, it's like, what, is that really the message you want to push? At least, like, especially with this song in particular, I'm like, really? Who's gonna support that? Who wants to support that? Especially if this man made it. And I feel like if this is true or whatever, I feel like this is part of this wave of feminism. I feel
Is that where people are like, they think feminism, boasting it, but only when it benefits them?
Correct. Correct. Yes. Like you said, Taylor Swift. Well, I mean, who said that? Who said that? Oh my gosh. But it's something that we've seen, and I feel like we'll continue to see. But they're like, see, they just want, they just feel like they're like, look, I'm a woman. I should do I mean, not that it's not deserved. Taylor Swift definitely deserves all her success, but I feel like there are some times where I've seen that she has the ability to support other women, and she doesn't. Honestly, it feels like she goes out of her way to block people from certain accolades and accomplishments, like she did with Charlie XCX. By releasing a UK-only version of the Tortured Poets Department right when Charlie XCX released her album that was projected to go #1. It was a UK-only version. Anyway.
It's hard out here to be a pop girly.
It's hard out here. It's also hard out here to be black and brown, y'all. So as the 2024 presidential election inches closer, we're seeing more and more of the frontrunners in the news. But something that caught my attention as a black man was former President Trump's desire to reinstate a policing tactic that is proven to disproportionately impact black men. So in 2013, a judge ruled that stop and frisk was unconstitutional, essentially banning it. So the tactic allows officers to randomly stop and search people for weapons. Data shows that black and brown people were targeted most often. This report from the New York Police Department shows out of nearly 17,000 people that were stopped in the city in 2023, more than 11,000 were innocent. And nearly 90% were black or Latinx, while only 6% were white. So part of Trump's plan to keep American communities safe includes having local jurisdictions return to, quote, proven common sense policy measures, such as stop and frisk. Though these desires are not new, they have garnered new attention since Trump will likely be on the ballot in November. So one, I would like to say it was banned over a decade ago for a reason. We see it. It's statistics now. It's on paper that they disproportionately target black and brown people. I don't know why we would go back. I know Trump says that he has his reasons, and his reasons were he wanted to get guns off of the street, which you said that that's something that, yes, I feel like most people do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I feel like just the climate that we're lived in today, and like especially with the increase of gun violence at school specifically, like I could definitely see why something needs to be done. However, like when you're gonna have it be this that's done, stop and frisk, when it's something that's proven to literally impact minority communities, black people, brown people,
Over
but 6% white people.
6%.
Yeah.
Like, how?
This isn't the way to do it.
It's not the way to do
No.
it. He also says he wants to crack down on illegal drugs, and this will also be a way to get, I'm quoting, criminal aliens off the streets. And I feel like that was important to say because that was Donald Trump's verbiage, and I feel like
The only reason why he'll use that type of verbiage is to have some sort of umbrella term to get people who don't really know what's going on board.
I suppose
it's insane.
But I feel like there's a way. I feel like, as we know, that's a very pointed term to use, and I feel like it dehumanizes people. It literally calls them aliens. So I'm like, I feel like that is very indicative and it's very telling of how he may view people. That's just my own opinion, and I feel like it's very telling. So I feel like it was important to say that. But how do you even do that? Like, how is stop and frisk going to help with helping with undocumented people?
Right.
I'm so confused. Like, do you just go up to every black and brown person like, let me see some ID? Like, what?
Yeah.
That's turning back the clock.
It absolutely is.
It's insane. It's literally insane because, like I said, it just impacts those communities 10 times more, 20 times more. It's unfair.
But yeah, either way, if you don't like it or you do, make sure you vote. Head out to the polls in November. It's very, very important. And soon, eventually, we're going to try our best to get a little legal analyst on here, answer all of our questions, all of your questions. So definitely stay tuned for that coming soon.
Yeah. Moving on to another update. The former Cleveland police officer who shot and killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice nearly a decade ago has resigned from his position with a West Virginia police force. It comes just days after he was hired. An official says Timothy Lohman chose to step down from his job as a probationary officer following public outcry. Rice was playing with a pellet gun outside a rec center in Cleveland back in 2014 when he was shot and killed by Lohman seconds after he arrived. That shooting sparked months of protest.
And the United Nations Refugee Agency says it's expanding its Sudan aid plan, to Libya and Uganda. It comes as those countries are receiving a surge of people fleeing from the 14-month civil war in Sudan. According to the UN, Sudan is already experiencing the worst displacement crisis, with 12 million forced to flee their homes. Of those, more than 2 million have been displaced across borders. This, the latest expansion of the UN response plan, means that now several African countries are taking in large numbers of Sudanese refugees.
And in Palestine, the United Nations reports that at least 3 children died from malnutrition and lack of access to adequate health care in late May and early June. That's just weeks after a crucial route for humanitarian aid to Gaza was closed in early May. And at least 4 U.S. officials confirmed that a key U.S. military pier built to deliver aid to civilians is set to be permanently removed as early as next week, making the situation in Gaza even more pressing. So the UN says the deaths indicate that famine has now spread to the entire Gaza Strip.
Game 7 Barbershop in Inglewood had its grand opening this weekend. During the event, there was an education session along with 3 different barber battles that took place. We talked with Derek Cruz, owner of Game 7, along with barber Sebastian Pacheco, who has been a licensed barber for over 9 years now. He also helped lead the education session.
We walk in a room as a black and brown or, as a colored person, our options are already limited. This was my goal. This was my vision to ultimately have events like this in my establishment.
First part, we're doing a barber education. The way I like to kind of picture this is we're going to go look at his crown, and that's going to determine where I part his hair. It's not to be a carbon copy, but to give him the building blocks to become a successful.
Sometimes this is art. So a lot of the barbers are very artistic in a sense.
For me, I was my family's big artists, so it's kind of a little bit easier to process. When we're going through design work, line work is always very important.
A lot of the times people come from backgrounds where they couldn't afford a haircut, so they had to ultimately learn how to do haircuts.
I want to make sure the density is good, but I still want to make sure it's dark enough. And when I'm cutting to it, I'm pulling away. The difference between that, like doing that and just letting the shear do it, is if I go like this and I push it, it's pushing the hair. When I'm going this and I'm pulling, we're getting more of a precise line. We connect so much with all sorts of people.
It's cool to be able to have a 19-year-old in the same barbershop as a 45-year-old, a 50-year-old, and they're all in the same realm.
There's so much. We do more than just cut hair. We supply and, we give advice to about everything.
Being able to have an environment where everybody like that feels welcome, and it's not just like nobody's getting looked down on or anything like that.
Becoming a barber and coming here and interacting with people, it brings joy, and I'm able to kind of forget everything that's going on, my personal life. You sit here, you touch everyone, that your energy transfers into them, and theirs goes into you. And this is my final look. Done with it.
Put your mind to it, try, and you can do it too.
That's so awesome.
I love
We're
that.
joined now by Derek, the owner of Game 7. We're so thankful to have you here with us.
Thank you, guys. Yep, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on the Culture Report. So first, I just want to say, I feel like it's so cool that it's minority owned. So why do you feel like it's so important that spaces like that in particular, especially ones that definitely cater to black and brown people predominantly are like owned by people just like them.
Especially in the place in Colorado, being in Colorado, there's not many already black and brown owned businesses in general, so being able to have a barbershop where at the end of the day it is a pillar of, the community where a lot of cool people or, professor, anybody can go into, and feel welcomed and, feel a part of the community. Being able to do something like that and bring that to the people it's very important and show people that essentially, black and brown people can do it too, it's not always ran by people that you think it's ran by,
Especially here, like you said, in Colorado, because when I got here, it was, where were you? Maybe if you were here, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have started growing my hair out. Because I started this little hair growth journey about 6-7 months ago. Don't look too close.
I mean, we can still fix it, though.
Wash day.
We can get you
There's
right.
potential.
No,
So there's an opening in his chair.
You too. She came here. I mean, you have plenty of options in Chicago.
We can get into that, yeah.
She could do. You got options. When you moved here, do you have?
I have one.
Oh, you have one, and you stick to one.
Yes, stick to her.
That's
Love
loyal, right?
Yeah, you got to stay loyal for sure. That's great.
Yeah.
I literally have been having this man cut my hair for like a decade.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like long time.
Yeah.
But so like, I just was wondering, can you talk about like what it means to be an owner of this barber shop and to have young people come into there sometimes and see you in that position? Do you think it can like empower them or like maybe give them some sort of motivation?
I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's the goal, for the future generations to see that, ultimately, you can do it too. It's really cool when I go into some places or some some restaurants or some brands, other places, and I see people like me, and to be able to be the one that's like owning the spot and like it's in charge of everything that's going on in the establishment. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I take a lot of pride in it. Make sure everything is dressed and just to my liking, because it's what I wish that I would have had when I was growing up. So now that I can do it, I will do it. For the future generations. So
Yeah.
just the goal is to just keep building and just grow bigger for the, for the younger crowd to, come up and experience what the barber industry can really do and what it can really bring for you and do for, people's lives and,
Yeah. Can you also kind of touch upon like the culture aspect of that and like creating a community where it's welcoming for everyone?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, in the barber shop, you can go in there and talk about anything. If you got problems going on, at the end of the day, we do kind of tend to cater to a lot of dudes' needs and listen to a lot of problems and stuff like that. And it's best when you know that you can have that establishment where people go to and they kind of are happy to go there and, they're looking forward to something and they know that, no matter what's going on outside of those doors, they can walk into the culture of the barbershop. And, I've made sure that I get a group of help and a lot of cool dudes around me that, carry that same type of vibe and energy to, make sure that when you do come in the place, everything does feel welcoming and just running that is great. And especially in, like I said, in Denver, it's kind of hard. There's not many places like that out here.
Yeah.
So to be one of the few, if one of the only ones to essentially do that, it's really cool, and it's a lot more than just a haircut. We got a lot more stuff in the shop that you come through and we got a lot of nostalgic things and just, conversations and just people all in there that, you come through and you just feel welcome for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
great place and great work.
great work, great
amazing.
role model. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I really appreciate your focus on inclusivity. Like you said, you're like, we don't want anyone to feel like they're being looked down upon, however they're different. I know barbershops can be sometimes a scary place, especially for queer people. So I appreciate you like fostering that environment of inclusivity because, when you got to go to a barbershop every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, but some people go weekly, you want to at least feel comfortable with your barber. So thank you for that. That's really important.
And we take a lot of pride in that. We want to make sure that, a woman can walk in the barbershop and feel extremely comfortable, and anybody of any race or genders or anything can walk in the barbershop at any point in time and, feel like, this is my spot, and I've done a good job and the dudes are really good with, making sure that conversations are all smooth and, so thank you. And, I really hope to see, you come in the chair and get hooked up one time, and get fresh. Let me see what got going on. But, yeah, man. But, yeah, everybody's more than welcome to, come through and just know that when you walk in a Game 7 barbershop, we got you guys for sure. And, yeah, man, we try to keep the utmost professionalism that we can. And, it's only up from here,
We are going to hop into good news of the week. For my good news, I have a historically black college and university that is making strong strides toward being the first HBCU with an ice hockey program. Tennessee State announced plans last year, and they've just hired a coach. It's Dante Abercrombie. Abercrombie has had his own career being a black trailblazer in the sport. According to the NHL, he has experience coaching collegiate and professional hockey and is also familiar with playing on the ice from his time in the minor league. Tennessee State hockey is looking forward to its debut season in 2025.
And we all know there is no place like home. NBA champion Derek White was in his hometown of Parker, Colorado, hosting his 5th annual youth camp. Kids who attended the camp had the chance to talk with Derek, participate in drills ranging from shooting, passing, defending, and even conditioning. That's right, conditioning. Derek said he hopes to be someone kids can look towards as an example for his unique journey from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs to becoming an NBA champion.
Period. And middle distance runner Nikki Hiltz closed out Pride Month with a bang, running the second fastest time ever of any American in the women's 1,500-meter race at the U.S. Olympic Trials. So officially qualifying for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. So I know, iconic.
Yo.
So when talking about the accomplishment, Hiltz, who is transgender and non-binary, says, "This is bigger than just me. It's the last day of Pride Month. I wanted to run this one for my community. I could just feel the love and support." Very iconic. Have we noticed the theme with this good news? A lot of sports.
sports.
A lot of sports. Are you a sports person?
I'm a little bit of a sports person.
I'm not. So I love that for you. This is our resident sports guy here, but HBCU,
Maybe I'll be coming back then.
with the hockey team, maybe we'll see more professional hockey players that are black.
I would
because
love that.
I was looking for
That's
some
huge.
here. You know, we have a little segment here. Where, what? Oh,
I just remembered Derek White,
okay.
he's announced that he's on the Olympic team now.
Oh,
Team
okay.
USA.
USA.
Yeah.
Shout out Derek White.
Come on,
I
man.
mean,
I'm sorry, it just popped in my head.
that's good. No, now we know. That's actually a really important nugget. But yes, like I was saying, it's hockey. Black people, hockey.
My fault.
I think that's so important, and I think that's so cool. And maybe now I want to try to get on some, what are they called? Skates? Ice skates?
Ice skates? Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to do that. I've never done it, guys. So maybe we'll make that a stepping in segment.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that too. And I like that you joined us. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys
for
having
joining
me.
us.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you at the shop.
Yes. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining this week's Culture Report. We'll be back to continue the conversation right here on 9 News Plus and 9news.com.